Hello everyone, welcome to Math World. This video is to discuss transformations from part 1, and this is the subtopic of functions in paper 1. Okay, so basically we have two types of transformations. So transformations. The first is horizontal transformation, let it be H, and the second is the vertical transformation, let it be V. Okay, so basically for the horizontal transformation, it will be affecting the x coordinate in your point. Okay, and for the vertical transformation, it will be affecting the y coordinate. So these are the differences between these two transformations. Okay, and now here for information for this horizontal and vertical transformations, we will have to look at another three types of transformations. The first is translation. The second is going to be reflection. And the third is stretch. Okay, so we will be covering all these transformations in this video. Okay, so now let's start with translation. Okay, so for translation, basically for the horizontal translation, right? Horizontal translation. Okay, that is referring to the translation of, let's say, A and 0, because for the horizontal translation, it will just affecting the x coordinate. Okay, so whenever you see A0, translation of A0, that means your x, right? This is the x, this is the x, and this is the y coordinate, right? So the x is affected by the y, the x is affected by the A units. So it means you have to either move the original graph to the right side or left side, depending on the A value for the whole graph, okay, because of the effect on the x coordinate. So now for your information, if your A is positive, okay, A is positive, right, more than 0, that means you are going to move up, move right, move to the right. Okay, if your A is negative, and then the graph will be moved to the left. Okay, so for your information, if let's say this is your translation, your fx, okay, your fx, it will be converted into f of x minus a. Okay, and then the corresponding coordinates. So coordinates instead of xy for a point, it will be changed to x plus a and y. Okay, so because we consider the a in general, so if your a is positive, that means x plus a positive value, right? If your a is negative, then a plus a negative value. So end up with x minus the a value. Okay, so that will be the effect on the points. Now, what happened to the vertical translation? So for vertical translation, it will be in this form. So translation of 0b. Okay, so again, when you look at here, the x equals to 0 means no change in the x, and then it is a change in the y. Okay, and again, for your information, if your b is positive, that means you are moving up the graph. If your b is negative, less than 0, then you are moving down the graph. Okay, so now the function fx will be changed to f of x plus b, because now the effect is on the y value, and then the coordinates, right, instead of xy, now there's no change in the x, that means you remain the x, and then the y now becomes y plus b. Okay, so this is first type of transformation, that is called translation. All right, so now the next one is the reflection. So for reflection, okay, reflection, again, now we have to consider whether it is horizontal transformation or vertical transformation. So now when we start look at the horizontal reflection, or probably I would just say it is the reflection in the x-axis, right? So here, reflection in the x-axis. Okay, so when in the x-axis, let's say for example, this is your x and y axis. Let's say this is your graph. Okay, it is a quadratic curve. When it is reflection in the x-axis, that means your x-axis is the mirror. Okay, so now the blue color is the object, so the orange color is the image. That means this is the effect on the y values, because all your y instead of positive now becomes negative. So when it is the y value, then I will say that it is vertical transformation. So from here you can just remember reflection in the x-axis will be this graph. So which means now here I will say, okay, basically this is the vertical transformation, right? Vertical, yeah, is kind of vertical transformation, and this is vertical reflection. So normally we will just say it's a reflection in the x-axis. So now your graph or your function, okay, so your function fx, it will be changing to negative fx. So as shown in the graph here, okay, which means the coordinates, right, instead of xy, so it will be changed to x and minus y. Alright, so the x remains and the y has been changed to negative. That's why this is vertical transformation. Okay, so now the next case is horizontal transformation. So here I will just write h later on. So it will be reflection in the y-axis. Okay, let's say for example, this is a graph x, y. And now my graph, let's say, right, this is my graph, y equals to fx. So when it is a reflection in the y-axis, that means your y-axis now is the mirror. So when the y-axis is the mirror, which means my image will be over here. This will be my image. Okay, so when you look at here, actually the y value no change, remains. But then the x value, instead of this a, now it has been changed to minus a because it's on the left side. So which means now here this is basically the change in the x values. So I will say that this is basically the horizontal transformation. Okay, so from here, when you look at the general form, your fx, it will be changed to f of minus x because my a has been changed to minus a, right? And then the coordinates, it will be from xy changed to minus x and y. Okay, so these are the important notes that you need to know. Now, done for the reflection, let's move on to the last transformation that is called stretch. So C is called stretch. So now for the stretch, we have two cases. The first is horizontal stretch. Okay, remember the horizontal means a change in the y. The horizontal means a change in the x values. Okay, when you look at here, this is horizontal, change in the x. So which means now here I will say it is a stretch. You can just write stretch in the x direction with a scale factor. Okay, here we need to consider scale factor of 1 over a. Alright, so for this case, your fx, so your fx will be changed to f of ax. Alright, now when the a is greater than 0, just for your knowledge, that will be a compression. Okay, compression. And then if your a is between 0 and 1, this is going to be a stretch. But then in general, we will just say it is a stretch. So you need to know when you need to describe the stretch, right? You have to consider, you have to mention, I would say you have to mention whether it is in the x direction or in the y direction and what is the skew factor. This will be the important keywords, right? When you need to describe the the stretch. Okay, and then now what happened to the coordinates? So xy now becomes x over a and y. Okay, so this is a special case, right? Horizontal stretch. So then the next one is going to be vertical stretch. Okay, so the second part, vertical stretch. It is a stretch in the y direction because of vertical. Okay, with a scale factor of a. Just now 1 over a, now becomes a. Okay, what happened to your function? So the function is basically a fx. Right? Because we know that vertical stretch means that it will be affecting the y value. You see, the y value is changing. So now becomes a fx. Okay, then from here, my coordinates xy will be changed to x ay. Okay, so you have to be careful with this. When it is horizontal stretch or stretch in the x-axis or x direction, scale factor 1 over a, you just multiply 1 over a to the x. Alright, that's why it becomes x over a. But then when it is stretched in the y direction with the scale factor a, so which means now I just times the y coordinates by a. Okay, so this will be the notes for the transformation. Alright, so let's move on to the question. Now, let's say the curve shown in the diagram has the equation y equals to fx, given 4 points with coordinates 0, 2, this is a A, and then 1, 0 is a B, C is 3, 1, D is 4, 0, respectively. So you are given the graph over here. Sketch on separate diagrams the following graphs and state the coordinates of the points corresponding to the ABCD. Okay, so we need to sketch a graph first. Now the first one is y equals to fx plus 3. So firstly, I will write down these 4 coordinates so that I can join the 4 points and get the original graph. Okay, so my A is basically, okay, let's see. So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So which means now here, right, I will write down my A equals to 0, 2, my B 1, 0, C will be 3, 1, and then D will be 4, 0. Okay, so the first one is going to be fx plus 3. So now the first one, y equals to fx plus 3. Okay, I will draw the graph, okay, the original graph. Let's say this is a grid. What to do is just y. This is the x. Okay, here 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so here 1, 2. So 0, 2. 0, 2 is over here. 1, 0. 3, 1. Okay, and 4, 0. So this is the original graph. Right, y equals to fx. And when you need to sketch y equals to x plus 3. So when you go back to the notes over here, x plus 3, which means, okay, so fx plus 3, that is this case. Okay, that means if here plus 3, that means your A is going to be negative. Alright, so or probably you can just write down the translation. Translation is going to be negative 3, 0. So now I will write, okay, so here translation negative 3, 0. So this is basically translation of negative 3, 0. So when negative 3, 0, okay, go back to the notes over here. When here is minus A, this is going to be plus A. Okay, or probably I will just say here, I will just refer to here. If here is A, then this is going to be plus A. Right? So that's why it's very important to write down what is the translation according to the function first. So I'll get x plus A, y. Then you will be getting, this is going to be xy. Okay, or probably I will just say, once I know that it is translation, what I need to do is I will just move the graph 3 units to the left, right? Because the x is changing now and it is negative, so it is to the left. If it is positive, then to the right. So here I will move each point 3 units to the left. So I start with this point first. So now let me label all this. This is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So what I need to do is I will just move 1, 2, 3. This is my A. Alright, so let's say I label here A, this is B, C, and D. Then this is my A prime. Okay, now the next point B. Again 3 units. So 1, 2, 3. This is my B prime. And then here 3. So when you move the C to the 3 units to the left side, it will be at the 0. So C prime. And then the D, the point D, right? This is my point D. When I move it to the left side for 3 units, it will be at 1. Okay, because here 1, 2, 3. So now you can just join all the points. So this is my D prime. Okay, so this is the graph if you have sketched an original graph. Now, if let's say you need to find the points, okay, without using the graph. So what to do is you can just use the formula just now. Okay, when here is minus 3, when here is minus 3, that means all your x coordinates, you just minus 3. There's a shortcut without using the graph. Otherwise, you can just use a graph. Let's say you have sketched a graph, then you can just read the answer from the graph, which means now your A prime will be negative 3, 2. Okay, no change. Then your B prime will be 1 minus 3. Okay, here minus 3, all this minus 3. And then the y remains. So I will get minus 2, 0. And then my C prime will be 3 minus 3, that is 0, 1. And then my D prime is going to be 1, 0. Okay, so done for the first graph. So the orange color here or the red color here, this red color is my y equals to f of x plus 3. So you are moving the graph to the left side 3 units. Okay, so done for the first one. Now the second one, fx plus 2. Okay, so when fx plus 2, it means you see the plus 2 is at the back, right? It's not within the brackets. That means this is the effect on the y value, right? So when you look at here, that is the second case, vertical translation. So you have to write down the translation first. What type of translation? It will be translation of 0, b. Because if here is plus b, this is b. Okay, so then now here I will write fx plus 2. Second question, fx plus 2. Okay, so the plus 2 is at the back. Okay, so again, I sketch a original graph, right? So it will be, okay, let's say, Okay, so initially 0, 2, 1, 0, 0, 2, 1, 0, 3, 1, and 4, 0. So this will be my original graph. Okay, and then now because of the plus 2 over there, okay, so this one should be touching. Okay, so because of the plus 2 here, this plus 2, it is not inside the bracket. So therefore, this is a translation of 0, 2. So when it is a translation of 0, 2, right, basically you are moving up the whole graph by 2 units. So from here, I will say instead of at the 2 here, it becomes 4. Okay, this is my A prime. When the point B is on the x-axis, right, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, this is 0. So now you move up the whole graph. So when I move up the whole graph by 2 units, it becomes A here. Right. So, and then for the C, at first it's at 1. For the Y value, now plus 2 units, it becomes 3. And then my D, at first as a 0. So now it is same line as the, same level as the points B. So this is my B prime, C prime, and D prime. So now you can just join the points. Okay, this is my y equals to fx plus 2. So in terms of the points, right? So your A prime, so we know that plus 2 means that the effect is on the y value. So instead of 0, 2 now, from the original point, it becomes 0, 4. And then now your B prime, it will be 1, 0 here, becomes 1, 2. So it means that the y coordinates is plus 2. Then the C prime, it will be 3. At first 3, 1. Now it becomes 3, 3. And then the D prime will be at first 4, 0. So now it becomes 4, 2. Okay, so done for the question 2. Now, the next one is y equals to minus fx. Okay, so when you times a minus, minus means it's same as minus 1. Okay, go back to the notes. So it is the reflection in the x-axis. You see, your y value, all positive y value becomes negative y values. Alright, so that means now I re-sketch this graph. Okay, my third part, I will just copy back this whole graph. Okay, maybe I just write down the function first. Okay, so now right, your points. These are your points. So A, B, C, D. Okay, this is y equals to fx. Here x, and this is 0. Now, when y equals to negative fx, this means it is a translation, no, it is a reflection. Okay, reflection in the x-axis. Okay, because our y has been changed to minus fy, minus y. Okay, because y equals to minus fx now, which means now you assume the x is the mirror. So you just flip, right? So your a, instead of positive 2 for the y values, now becomes negative 2. So which means now here probably this is minus 1, this is minus 2. Then now just flip. This is my a prime. But then for the b, the y remains. Because you times negative to 0 is still negative. It's still 0. Then for the point C, at first 1, now becomes minus 1. Okay, D remains, no change. So therefore, you just join these points. Okay, so this will be your y equals to negative fx. And from the graph, we know that the new coordinates, the coordinates of new points. Okay, so now the effect is on the y values. So the x no change. Instead of 0, 2 for the a, now becomes 0, negative 2. Same goes to the b. Okay, b prime no change. So it will be 1, 0. And then the c prime, it will be, instead of 3, 1, now becomes 3, negative 1. Whereas for the d prime remains, it will be 4, 0. Okay, so done for the third question. Now, the next one is the fourth question, f of minus x. So when the minus is with the x, alright, so let's go back to the notes. When the minus is with the x, that is the horizontal reflection, or I would say that it is the reflection in the y-axis, because based on here, see your x has been changed to minus x, alright. So now number 4, y equals to f minus x. So it is the reflection in the y-axis. Okay, so initially this will be your A, B, C, and D, right? These are the points. So this is y equals to fx. And now since this is a reflection in the y-axis, that means now you assume the y is the mirror. Okay, so this is the mirror. So when this is a mirror, so for all your objects, it should be reflected. Okay, to get the image. So what I need to get now here is my points A, no change, because it's on the mirror. And then my points B, instead of +1, now becomes -1. So I need to label my values on the left side, my x-axis for the negative values. Okay, so now from here, my B, instead of 1 unit to the left side, to the right side, from the mirror, okay, now becomes 1 unit to the left side. So it becomes here. This is my B prime. And then the C, the y value no change, and then instead of 3 units to the right side, now becomes 3 units to the left side. So it will be at -3. This is my C prime. And then my D is 4 units from the mirror line. Then it will be 4 units from the mirror line but to the left side. This is my D prime. Okay, then now you just join all these points. So this will be my y equals to f of minus x. Okay, and the corresponding points. So A prime. Now, it is a reflection in the y-axis. You see the x has been changed to negative x. So which means now 0, 2 remains. Because 0 times negative is still 0. And then for the points B, instead of 1, 0, now becomes -1, 0. Then the C becomes 3, 1 becomes -3, 1. And then for the D prime, it will be -4, 0. So you just times minus to the x. Okay, done for the number 4. Now, question number 5. You need to get half fx. You see the half is outside is not together with the x. That means this will be the effect. This will be giving you the effect on the y values because the half is not with the x. Alright, so now let's check. So if you times the constant outside, right? Constant outside. So it will be the stretch in the y coordinates with a scale of factor a. Right? Stretch in the y direction with a scale factor of a. So now what to do is, okay, so now, and again for the points, see, right? If you times a outside, that means it will be affecting the y value. Okay, so it will be, instead of y, it becomes ay. Right? So from here, I will write the question half fx, number 5. So basically, this is a stretch in the y-axis, in the y direction, with scale factor 1/2. Okay, so that means now, okay, what happened to the graph? Initially here, these are the points. Okay, so because of the half fx here, that means now your y value becomes half of the original y. Okay, so instead of 0.2 for the a, now becomes half. Half times 2 is 1. Okay, so half times 0 is 0. Half times 1 for the point C, it will be half over here. So you are compressing, right? Compressing the graph. So now your graph becomes this. So this is your y equals to half fx. Okay, and then the corresponding points, your a prime becomes 0, 1 because you times half to the y coordinates. And then the b prime becomes 1, 0. And then your c prime becomes 3, 1, 3 half. Okay, initially 3, 1. Now becomes 3 half. And then the d prime becomes 4, 0. No change. Okay, so that is number 5. Stretch in the y direction. And question number 6. Now f of 2x. Okay, go back to the notes. F of ax. So when here ax, the scale factor is 1/a. And it is the change in the x. Okay, so stretch in the x direction. So I will write number 6. Y equals to f of 2x. So this is stretch in the x direction with scale factor okay, let's check. When f2x, okay, f2x, see here, 1/a, right? When here f(ax) is 1/a. So that means now here this is half because here 2x. Okay, so now I will resketch a graph. So our points, so here A, B, C, and D. Okay, so now since it is stretched in the x-axis, in the x direction or in the x-axis with scale factor half, that means now the effect is on the x value. You see here, x values. So your x values will be the half of the original x. So which means now, firstly, points A, the x value is the x coordinate is 0, so no change because you times half to 0 is still 0. But for the B, initially 1, so you 1 times half, it becomes half. Okay, for the point C, it is at 3 for the x coordinate. So now you times half becomes 1.5. Right, 1.5 is over here. So this is your B prime, C prime. But then my y coordinates remains. So it will be at 1 for the y value. So this is my C prime. And then my D, instead of 4 now, you times half. That becomes 2. So this will be your new graph. Okay, that means now here, our new points, A prime with coordinates 0, 2, no change. And then B prime, instead of 1, 0, now becomes half 0. And then the C prime, instead of 3, 1, now becomes 3 over 2, 1. And then the D prime will be 2, 0. Okay, this will be the answer for question 6. Right, so that's all for the graphs and the corresponding points. Alright, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel and share this channel with your friends if you enjoy watching my video, and stay tuned for more upcoming videos. Thank you everyone. Bye.